And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League Season 2 Playoffs, day number 4. I'm, of course, VIP. With me, I'm joined by, looks like Gemini and Sturgeon this day, and also all the lovely people in chat, by plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Whew, it's been an intense couple of days here of non-stop RSL and Maestros of the game StarCraft. That continues today as well. It's gonna be intense, as you can see here. We'll be getting into the matches themselves, but as you can see here for our schedule, we are casting RSL BAM into Maestros of the game. We did that yesterday. We're going to be doing it today as well. Yesterday, I was very fatigued, and I'll be honest, I was struggling in that final series. In that final series of Maestros, I was struggling to keep myself awake. I will do my best to maintain my sanity, maintain my just my alertness coming into day number 2. I'll do my best. But yes, back to back from RSL BAM into Maestros of the game. We got a lot of content, we got a lot of StarCraft. Meanwhile, when it comes to the bracket itself, as you can see here, we're in the lower brackets. Sorry, we're in the upper bracket, my apologies. We're in the upper bracket. We just wrapped up with the upper bracket winners finals yesterday. Sorry, a couple of days ago even. Cure took down Shin 3-0. Zoun took down Raynor 3-2. Classic took down Trigger, and Maru took down Beyond. And as a result, we have the upper bracket remaining. When it comes to the lower brackets, Shin has been eliminated, Beyond has been eliminated. Both Trigger and Raynor won those matches. Bam, you can see it a little bit better here. But Trigger did take down Beyond, and Raynor did take down Shin. That was yesterday. Those are yesterday's matches. I do highly recommend the VODs. A lot of really fun, a lot of really exciting matches were had, of course. Raynor and Trigger, they are waiting for their next opponents, and of course, we're going to be focusing on that upper portion of the bracket. Up first is going to be Cure versus Zoun, followed by Maru versus Classic. Oh boy. So two TvPs here in the upper brackets. We're used to it, We're used to all the Terran versus Protoss matchups. But one of my favorite things about the RSL is the unique custom map pool. We get to feature some of the otherwise, or some of these newer like TLMC 21 maps. Once again, just to reiterate, for those who are unaware, I have been judging, have been examining, have been hard at work on TLMC 21. There are just so many maps. There are so many maps to go through, and for the past couple of days, I've been doing the best that I can to work through those maps. I'm almost done with all the standard maps. Fun fact, there's still rush maps, macro maps, dynamic maps, but the standard map pool is the biggest one, the submitted standard map, so I've been working through that, and once I'm done, I will be able to showcase that on stream, and we'll be going over through some of my thought process, likewise along some what I'm looking for, what I'm not looking for, kind of like what dictates like a higher rating or a lower rating. So we can go through that maybe next week, once I finish up. And some of the maps that we have been judging are going to be featured in this tournament. Some of them are going to be featured in this tournament. We have our own thoughts, of course, especially now that we've had more in-depth looks at some of those maps. Otherwise, if you want to support the RSL, !RSL in the chat, so you can get a link to their Patreon. Of course, this is funded by the people, for the people as well. A massive amount of support on Patreon for the Rival StarCraft League. Of course, a lot of that money is going into the tournaments themselves. There are 3 seasons of RSL this year. We have just halfway through. We're even more than halfway through the 2nd season, into the 3rd season, into the offline finals. They have booked a venue. And there's going to be a live audience as well coming into the end of year finals of the RSL. Exciting stuff in regards to that. As always, I will say that I do feel like the RSL could do a little bit more when it comes to their production, when it comes to their show, especially here in the playoffs. The broadcasts are very short, like 2 hours, 3 hours at most. Really short broadcasts each day, because they only feature 2 matches, and there are no interviews. There's no winner's interview, there's no Korean translator either. I do feel like there's a little bit more that can be done in regards to the players and getting access to them and discussing and talking to them and interacting in some way and getting more out of that. Not just that, but the fact that they're in Korea, and a lot of the players that are competing, like, fun fact, every player in the upper bracket quarterfinals is in Korea. Sorry, upper bracket semis. Classic, Maru, Cure, and Zoun. We have a pure Korean upper bracket semis. It would be nice if we could get them in the studio, if we could, hear from them. Again, winners interviews to talk about some of the builds of choice. Like I know people would love to hear from Zoun, for example. But here we go. We're jumping into our first series. Jumping in.
I cannot wait to get this started here, guys. We've got Cure, the monster, Terran player in the top right in blue, and in the bottom left, it is Vitality's Zoun.
Oh, we actually have intros.
Ooh, what are you feeling here for game number 1, gentlemen? Who have you got in this series? Talk to me.
I actually feel like
also, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Oh, I have to
see him continue that.
Make sure that we're good to go.
I think Zoun overall is pretty satisfied with having a TvP right now.
But there we go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, and also a big shout out in the chat as well to Goma. Oh my God, este Goma, papi, este Goma. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with a tier 1 sub. Gracias, Goma. Gracias. Este Goma.
Not messing around essentially in this tournament.
Yeah,
so just catching up in the chat.
Cure is slightly favored in this matchup against Zoun as well. I think it's like 60% or something in
Surgeon competing with Beefy. Oh, este Beefy.
Nothing too one-sided. I think this will be a competitive
Then you like was so judgmental. True,
the question
true.
on my mind is today in this series and today in general, how much mech are we going to see? Like recently,
that's the biggest challenge, getting players to veto 3-player swap maps less than they're doing now. I haven't seen any 3-player swap maps actually when going through TLMC, fun fact. Hasn't happened. But gracias, go gracias.
So yeah, I mean, Cure had excellent success against it, or with it against Creator. Can't talk right now, man. It's the first game of the day.
It's the first game, dude.
What is happening?
No,
he did really well against Creator.
Double
and so,
gas.
I mean, Zoun obviously must have looked at that. He probably saw that was a possibility coming out of Creator, but Cure. Dang it! What the heck?
So I think they're talking about mech. Cure, he did showcase a lot of mech already, so mech is going to be on the table once again.
There you go.
In this matchup.
And yeah, like you said, we are seeing more mech these days. It's kind of something that fell out of fashion for a long time. There were a few Terrans trying to make it work, but it hasn't been kind of the standard or meta. But we did see it recently in RSL. I think once the Protoss get a bit more time to get used to it again and kind of prepare some specific counters and stuff like that, it might be more easy to deal with, but we'll have to see. Right now, this Reaper just gonna
I don't know how much StarCraft Sturgeon does cover, but he's touching on mech right now in TvP. Mech is very meta at the moment. Ever since EWC. Ever since EWC, so for the last 2 months, we have seen a lot of mech, not just in RSL, but in tournaments in general, from all the Terran players, except for Beyond. So Maru, Cure, Clem, Gabe, like all the top Terrans have been embracing mech in some way.
Wow.
Just as a heads up. So we're expecting mech at least a couple of times in this series.
Extremely quickly and getting sent right across the map. And it seems like Cure was a little bit greedy on his opening in general and didn't have any Marine or anything to help guard this. And a second SME, wow, actually not dying right there. Very surprised to see, but nice micro overall. But still, a good delay with the initial Adept is what you always want to see as a Protoss.
Yeah, that's still good for him. I think if he got it again, that would have been insane, like how much he would have delayed the CC. Luckily, that Cyclone is able to shut that down. The follow-up here is going to be a Widow Mine. We'll probably be going into a Widow Mine drop.
Behind this, we do have a Twilight Council open into Stargate, so it looks like standard play out of Zoun coming into this. We have yet to really determine the setup that Cure is going for. He's getting a CC on the low ground. We'll see if he goes for a Starport into Banshee play, into faster third base, or if he goes into Bio as a setup, as a follow-up.
Looking like fairly standard stuff right now.
Yep, he should be feeling pretty good going into the mid game for now. Knows that there's not really too much crazy stuff going on, as long as this Widow Mine drop doesn't.
Ooh, that's 4 gates. Yeah, 3 gates in production. 4 gate Blink Stalker. Hyper aggression out of Zoun.
Of course, need to know that this Cloak Banshee is going to be coming up afterwards as well. But
so 4 gate Blink with the Robo.
Into a 4 gate Blink aggression.
Gemini does notice.
That is still going to give him a lot of opportunity after this Widow Mine drop is defended to go across the map and potentially cause some great damage himself. So let's see if this Widow Mine drop actually ends up doing anything. Looks like Zoun is perfectly well prepared and shouldn't really lose anything whatsoever here, except for a probe or 2.
Wow, the defense is so good from Zoun. He had the 3 Stalkers ready. Detonates the Widow Mine on just 1 probe each. That's optimal. That's the best you can get. The medevac does get out of there, but yeah, very good defense here from Zoun. Good start to this game. The follow-up is going to be Cloak Banshees, so Cure will have another chance to get some more damage done, trying to hurt the economy of Zoun. But he's getting his Warp Prism. He's going to be moving across the map soon. He's going to be trying to pressure the Terran a little bit before he can move out.
So as a reminder, this is 4-gate blink, so this isn't just pressure, this is meant to deal damage. This is meant to trade well, otherwise Zoun will fall behind. So he's moving in, he's quite dedicated with this push. I would not say this is an all-in, so no, it's not an all-in, but it's still quite dedicated nonetheless. So we'll see if he can get into the main base. There is a tank at the natural, but the main base is looking very barren, and no surprises here. Second factory, Cure is playing mech, which if you remember, we expect mech at least twice or maybe even 3 times in the best of 5.
That will help a lot. And look at that, he's even repositioning at this point, knowing what's going to
Nice
be
tank
coming his
setup.
way and trying to account for that. But it looks like Zoun's just going to go right into the natural. Love that Adept getting into, deny the tank shot going onto the tanks as well. The Widow Mine drop in the main base killed off. The double Banshee is the only thing at this point that should be keeping Cure in this game right now, as there is no observer on the front until just now.
I love that snap decision there to jump in, get that tank, get as much damage as you can, make the SCVs will be pulled. Like you say, now he does have detection, so he will have a way to shoot these Banshees, which are still cloaked, going to be draining their energy.
He can try to get behind the mineral line.
Whatever he can here. Actually,
attacking his own starport there, and not the correct play Cure, but that's okay. We all do that every now and then. But it's going to be quite difficult, I think, for Zoun.
So what's important is that Zoun, he scouts. He sees all the factories. So he knows 100% that it's going to be mech. He's aware, but again, he's still hoping for more damage. Yes, he got a tank. Yes, he got some SCVs, but he does need more. He rotates the low ground. Bunker has not been replaced.
Should allow him to be a little bit more careful with that. But
dives in, gets one, gets 2 Banshees.
Right then, onto
just
those
one.
Banshees, and the tank will be able to kill off the tank. Unfortunately, that Banshee will still stay alive, but the Cyclone does fall, and without any upgrades, these Marines are also getting killed off extremely quickly, forcing the SCVs to be
they
pulled
can't hold
in
their
this,
own.
and so many of them.
Thankfully, no detection. If there was an observer here, that would just be game. That would just be game. It might still be game, to be honest.
16 going down.
Yeah, GG.
I love the way he split the army into the main, left nothing to defend the natural. Zoun sees that, just jumps in, gets that tank, gets the damage, and GG is called. What a dominant game 1.
Yeah, that was just easy as can be from Zoun. Like, that wasn't even close whatsoever. The initial harassment with just the Reaper.
Yeah, winding it back, that's why it was really important that we did try to emphasize as much as we could that it was 4-gate blink, right? That it was a dedicated build and it was meant to get damage done. From there, we saw that Zoun, initially he had a bit of a shaky start. He did snipe the first tank, which was really good. The Cloak Banshees were becoming an issue, but we saw that the army was very barren, or it's very scarce, I should say, for Cure, and he didn't rebuild the bunker. He did not rebuild the bunker on the low ground. He did not have the defenses he needed for the tank. Yes, he had some Banshees, but now there was detection. Now there was an answer for that.
The
And
fact that he did get it is quite surprising, and almost getting the second was super crazy. But yeah, honestly, just incredible defense and just a very clean, decisive attack that just really just swept Cure off his feet, basically.
Yeah, and he wasn't all in by any means. He had the third Nexus behind that, so he can transition, get his 3 base up, get his Storm going, go into that kind of mid-game if he doesn't get enough damage, but that's about as good as you can ask for a game 1 for Zoun. That's, pretty straightforward victory, just able to make.
We should also emphasize as well that another reason why this did excel as well as it did is also because we were making that mech transition, and mid-transition, that is when the Terran player is quite vulnerable because they're investing quite a lot into those extra factories, whereas otherwise it would be making Marines, otherwise it would be fortifying the defenses and getting ready back at home.
The splash damage on Stalkers, they kind of just kill everything else.
Yeah. No, you need the tanks as the anchor points. Without that, you're just totally hopeless as a Terran. Since you're going for such a high-tech build, going for the 1-1-1, the stim is much later, of course, than if you were opening 3 racks or something like that, so there's just no way that you can really defend unless you have all those tanks at those points. But that was the last game, of course, and now we're going to be going into game number 2 on Ultra Love here. We'll see if Cure can rally back a little bit and not make this an 0-3 or anything.
Yeah, that was such a textbook game from Zoun. The defense of the Widowmine drop was so good. He basically took no damage, only 2 probes going down, which is the minimum, basically. They're always going to get, a probe or 2. And then, yeah, just delaying that CC for so long has such a big impact. They can't make SCVs as early as they want to. It slows down their economy. The Banshees he made,
so from here we're getting into Ultra Love. Ultra Love is a smaller map, shorter rushes to spike round. We'll see if Cure does go for another economic start. We'll see if he goes something more tech heavy. We'll see how Cure does adjust. He might try to go mech again. Again, he never quite got into his own rhythm. He never quite got into his own game. He was denied before he could really get into the mid game and embrace his mech. So he might just try again.
But does it in a way that's not meant to.
Ooh, 2-gate opener. Uh-oh. Zoun hyper aggressive.
This game at least will try to do something that's a little bit
Gemini should notice.
More overall defensive, maybe just going for a solid Raven opener after the 1-1-1 instead with much faster tanks instead of going for the cloak and stuff like that. Ravens generally can be pretty good on the defense with the auto turrets, and they can also still throw
so a 2-gate opener here, it will delay the expansion. So Zoun is going for a delayed Nexus himself for extra gateway units early on. The goal here is to break Cure early and to get economic damage, delay the CC, maybe even get more than that depending on his control. Like, there's a lot of potential early on here for Zoun to wreak havoc, especially because Cure is going for a greedy build. He's going for a Rax expand.
Before we dive too deep into it. But, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised overall if we have a slightly similar... Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I didn't even notice. I was yapping. I didn't even notice.
Yapping, dude.
Yeah, now they noticed.
So
they got there. They got there. It's okay.
Possibly, we're going to see him move those across the map. As Cure, you don't want to get your CC delayed again. You want to get into a kind of normal mid-game where you get to be the aggressor at some point, right? Like, that's what Terrans like to do. They like to push out on the map, and you try and slow them down as the process.
Now, what's scary here is the lack of scouting. So Cure, he skipped his SCV scout, he skipped his Reaper, so Cure, he doesn't know what's coming his way. The reason why there's no bunker is because Cure is playing blind.
So Zoun did this earlier in the season against one of the Terran players that he played against. I think it was Gumiho, I can't remember exactly, but he did go for this, and it was very strange because it didn't seem like it really did anything. And again, I'll point out that he's doing it in a way that makes it look like this is just a single Adept over for now, but then he reveals the second one, split firing those shots absolutely perfectly, and then moves the weakened Adept out. That was unbelievably perfect control by Zoun on that initial opener. And now this is going to be so awkward because you can't really get down this ramp reasonably, and then there's going to be, assuming, Stalkers coming and reinforcing this. Yes,
yeah, there should be reinforcements on the way for Zoun to take control of the natural.
So it's going to be very difficult to actually get down here. A Cyclone is going to have to be made to be able to defend against this. And this is doing much better than it did last time he showed this, because last time there was.
So here, zero mining. Zero mining for Cure. He has zero economy at the natural, even just chipping away at the depot wall. Oh, shades into the main. Gets a full scout.
He's more susceptible to these kind of things. Right now, he can't make SCVs from the natural because they'll just die, obviously. But once this Cyclone comes out, he should be able to push this back. Already started up the SCV now because he knows the Cyclone is finishing. But this is already some nice damage here for Zoun, like a very nice early game.
Yeah, no, this is delaying Cure completely. He just cannot mine from this natural.
Okay, now he has to respect the Cyclone.
Once the Cyclone comes out, then you have full rain to go down, but Zoun is going to try to overstay this and actually kill the Cyclone.
Lose everything.
I mean, he will, but trading all of those units for that is, that doesn't really feel correct, in my opinion. I feel like suiciding the Adepts, I think, would have been an okay play.
Right.
Going full on with the Stalkers was a little bit much.
As they're getting into, that was a big loss for Zoun. Remember, his opener was to build up that early gateway army and to build up over time. Losing those first two Stalkers is huge. On top of that, we can see Zoun's out of position.
The Stalkers going through the middle of the map, don't see it.
He's out of position.
Only 2 at home right now, so he's got to control his Stalkers really well here. Try to pick off the Marines before they get healed. They do get to the middle line, going to start to pick off these probes. Okay, he gets 2. It's not bad. He does get out with all his with his medevac intact. These Stalkers were coming back, so I like that decision. But you got to go back to the Zoun, right? If he'd just retreated after he got all that damage done, he would be in an amazing spot right now. But as it stands, Kira's back in this game.
Yeah, the 2 SCV, or sorry, 2 probe kills is actually kind of significant at this point, considering how low the probe count is. You do have to cut a little bit to be able to do this build. I haven't studied it perfectly because, again, it's a totally new random build that Zoun is doing, but I believe you do need to cut some probes to be able to get this out. So to lose just even a few here is not what you want, considering you're going into this game assuming you're going to have full tempo control by going for that early aggression. You're not expecting to suddenly have a couple probes being killed off here and there.
Right, he does have the third.
I'm sure Gemini has seen 2-gate openers like this before.
The probe count, and it's actually going to be Charge coming out here, and I think the robot is finished as well. We're going to have an Observer come out.
Fine.
So he's
but getting into this, it is going to be Cure going for a bio follow-up, not mech this time, so we have extra Raxes on the way.
The mech play we've been seeing recently, like maybe you want to get ready for that. Maybe you want to get your Immortals out from the robot.
Maybe there's something to it that I'm missing when it comes to why Zoun's 2-gate opener would be more unique than just a 2-gate opener.
These Stalkers at the front right now, just going to try and see when the Terran does move out. 1 Marine over here scouts the 3rd base. That's good to know. You do want to know the timing on that, but we'll get cleared up by this Zealot. And now we're going to see what Keel wants to go for. He's got Stim on the way, 2 more orders at a time coming out. He's going to have a lot of map presence here soon.
Yeah, this is just kind of getting rounded out here from Zoun, of course, getting the blink immediately with his Twilight to be able to, have full mobility and map control, and then going into the charge, and then he's going to be favoring that fast Storm play, which has become so popular in the recent months here. Looks like the Observer will be pushed away just a little bit by that Raven. Doesn't want to go too deep and lose it. Would be, of course.
Here we're waiting to see if Cure throws down extra Raxes or third CC.
As well is actually quite interesting.
We have the answer, third CC. So Cure, he's not going for an all-in. He's slowly building up into a third base. Meanwhile, Zoun likewise will be able to get into Storm. There's no kind of major timing to break him.
He's actually able to get that in time because I feel like the Prism, it'll be getting there basically like within seconds of this push actually getting across the map. It'll be very close.
Yeah, we do have +1 attack on the way as well for Cure, so this attack is going to hit very hard.
Volley in the Raven.
Nice marker there, pulls back the Stalkers, doesn't lose any. And I always get a bit nervous when the
Raven!
The Raven's at the front, attack moved, but he doesn't go down. Okay, that's very fortunate for Cure. You do not want to lose that expensive unit. And here comes the push now. We have 2 tanks there. We have
that was almost disastrous.
Combat shields is not on the way.
Storm is done in a couple of seconds.
Concussive shells as well. Okay, he sees it. He knows what's coming, but does he have enough to defend here?
Yeah, Storm is very close to finishing. It's going to finish just in time for this push. How many Templar does he have? He's actually kept the Prism home as well.
He's quite dedicated to
Templar
this.
And potentially get a dive. What was that? Blink forward. Possibly a misclick because that is not what you want your Stalkers to be doing. Forced to use 1 Storm already on just a few bio units on the ramp. Not what you want so far from Zoun.
I mean, the blink forward wasn't punished. Like, he got the Raven. That was solid.
It's very difficult
that was fine.
to get a nice round. You can see Zoun's even moving his army on the minimap fully around to try and get some sort of engagement that would actually be favorable.
That was fine, but we're just banking up those Storms, getting ready for this round.
Get his Templar in position, and now he's going to go for it, but the Prism getting killed by a Widowmine and the Marines. 0 Storms going off, and Cure with an immaculate push.
That's game.
This is insane. The Prism going down is basically might just be the end of the game. You need those Storms
that
to be
is
able
the
to
end.
hold this
That's
push.
it.
The flank was a nice
It's
idea,
over.
but the Siege Tank's so oppressive on that high ground there.
No.
The Bio stims in. Only a few units warp
we
in
had
here.
1
This is
Storm.
not enough, basically.
Remember, he had 3 High Templar with 4 Storms because he had an energy overcharge as well. GG.
GG gets called. We are all even. 1-1 right now.
That was so clutch on the Prism snipe.
Yeah,
that was so perfect.
That was so unfortunate. The Widowmine shot was obviously, I mean, the Widowmine positioning was brutal there as well. Zoun did not see it coming. It was too late, baby. He face checked with the Prism.
Yeah, Zoun had no idea that was there. It was honestly just a little bit too late. But it's actually very critical as well, though, that Cure, along with the Widowmine, picks at least a couple Marines to focus fire down the Prism as well, because 1 Widowmine does not kill a Prism. So the fact that he
GG well played with that. We're getting into our next game. We have a back and forth. Cure does take the second game here, and we have a series ahead of us. Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's also going to touch on something, but we have Niels in the chat.
They just do so much damage, obviously, if you get a good one off on the Bio army.
That was brutal. 4 Storms. 4 Storms, 3 High Templar in the Prism.
So it's really difficult to actually move units out. So that's why we saw him send the flank around. Obviously, you want to flank the Terran army anyway. But it was really hard for him to kind of get his units into position. And I feel like he was managing everything. And that's why he sent the Warp Prism in and maybe didn't pay enough attention to it. It goes down with it, all the High Templar and Zoun's chance at taking that game.
Yes, a bit brutal for him, but it is a one.
And it looks like we're going to be going on a break. Also, once again, I should emphasize as well.
Everything is sick. Oh, joining our Patreon. Come on, guys.
For those who didn't notice, a lot of these matches for the upper bracket have been via replays. Reign versus Shin, Trigger versus Beyond yesterday, those were via replays, if you recall. And once again, these are also, I believe these are also replay matches as well. Which is kind of weird. Because that's why we don't get, sorry, I should emphasize why that matters. Why that matters is that we're not getting vetoes. They're not showing us the map order because they don't know the map order because they're not doing vetoes live. And also we don't get player cams, which is a bit of a shame. Previously, the reason why they were playing via replays and casting via replays is because this event was clashing with Maestros and was clashing with Chijik. There's a Chijik tournament going on right now. Is it still going on? Are they playing in that? Hold on, let's see. Let's have a look. Chijik. Who's playing? Cure. Yeah, they're playing tonight. That's unfortunate. So for those who are curious, there's a StarCraft Evolution tournament going on right now in Korea. I'll give you a link in the chat. And Kure is playing in that tournament. He's playing after Solar versus Lambo in a couple, or after that series finishes. So because Kure is playing in that, that's why he couldn't play this event live. So yeah, I was curious. I mean, there's just been so much StarCraft going on, like this, RSL, my assist of the game. There's a lot of matches going on at the moment, so it's all overlapping. So it's so sad, but everything's overlapping. So yeah, it looks like they're opting to play out the Chijik event live, of course. So yeah, just as a heads up. Just as a heads up. Which makes sense, just because the prize pool is massive for the Chijik event. But we're going to be going on a break. And when we come back, we'll have a next series. We'll see you soon. Sorry, we'll have the remainder of the series, the second half. We'll see you soon after the break. And we're back. We are back here with the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League Season 2 Playoffs Day number 4. We are mid-series. We're currently mid-series here with Kure versus Zoun. So far, we've had a bit of a back and forth here. We do have a tied 1-1 scoreline at the moment, and we'll see if that continues. Or I should say, we'll see who is able to take a lead in the series as we get into our next game. So far, we haven't really seen too much. We saw attempted mech play out of Kure in Game 1, and he got punished mid-transition by 4 Gapeling Stalker, was killed. Game 2, we saw Kure. He was delayed a little bit when it came to the 2-gate opener, but he was able to just snowball out of control, push across the map, and had a very, very crucial moment where he sniped 3 High Templar. There were 3 Templar, 4 Storms, and a Warp Prism. It all went down instantly. GG. GG well played, as Zoun was not able to stop and deny the push. So far, really fast games, to be honest. So far, we have yet to really embrace any kind of mid-game play, hoping that that changes moving forward, depending on the maps. We'll see.
Pretty reasonable map name, I can say that. I don't know what it means, but I can say it.
Oh, you don't want to know what it means?
Why? What's the law?
Sorry, I'm actually not doing it.
Okay,
I'll tell you later.
Let's not go there. Anyway, this
it
is game number 3.
Magnath is a person in the community. He's an Egyptian.
That's
captain,
Magnath.
but there's more to it that you don't.
The law.
I'll tell you later.
The scrolls.
Anyways,
Magnath. I've heard he loves Jagannatha. He loves Jagannatha so much, and Hyper One attributed this map to him. Kappa.
Be a eBay block, looks like it. Not actually going to be going for any. Actually, it could be a proxied second Rax. That actually could be kind of a possibility, but I feel like it's just going to be an eBay block. I think they are actually still pretty good. Oh, is it the second proxy Rax? Am I so smart?
Oh,
or is he just
you are so smart, Gemini. No,
it's
it's an eBay block. This is nice though. Throw off the Protoss, get them off their rhythm. You got to get it down in time though. Okay, he does. Oh yeah, doesn't have the minerals yet, of course.
He loved it so much. He got his own. Yes, so much.
Brought his probe down already. 3 more going to come down. Start to chip away at this eBay.
So nice scout by Zoun. He sees the eBay block early, so he can pull the boys and deny it.
This is just a little bit annoying to deal with, but nothing too unexpected. You know, he'll have a planned response for this. He'll know all the follow-ups. Just got to cancel this at the last second. Who was it the other day that didn't cancel? I think it was Classic, didn't cancel a pylon or something in a PvP. And I was like, oh! But he does cancel this one just in time. Going to be going into his Nexus here. On the back of this, we have a factory. And yeah, pretty normal follow-ups here.
Yeah, the eBay block, it's sometimes very annoying.
Still find it crazy that something named for me made it to the ladder. True.
Nexus or even a Nexus after Cybercore.
Faster factory.
Then you're going to be seeing that eBay very late. Zoun, though, sending one of his probes a little bit earlier just to anticipate that potential. And if you do see it when it basically comes right down, then that allows you to go for the probe response, which is what Zoun did. He pulls 4 probes, and that can kill it off in a decent amount of time, and where it's really just kind of just an even split. Like, you lose a little. Sorry, excuse me. You lose a little bit of income, but of course the Terran player loses some because they have to cancel the building. So it basically ends up being completely even.
Yeah, you don't want to let that eBay get to too high HP, right? And then it becomes like a whole task to take it down. Really good response from Zoun. You couldn't have been any quicker. Basically, perfect timing on that probe. That's nice to see. It's actually going to be a Hellion build this game, Gemini. And on the side of Zoun, we have a Sentry.
Okay, so it's going to be reactored Hellion. We'll see if we committed to an extra pair of Hellions as well. This can lead into Hellion drop play. So we'll see what Kure can get done as he moves out.
Yeah,
oh, he makes another pair. Let's go. extra Hellions.
Hallucination will actually cross paths with the Hellions.
Now remember,
On this map
3 Hellions, 1 Shuttle Worker. So 4 Hellions going to be more than enough. And again, once the starport is done, we can start to invest into drop play.
Because the way that the movement is, they just kind of dodge each other if you just send the Hallucinated Phoenix right across. But looks like Zoun is just going to be able to see everything anyways. Doesn't quite see that the... Oh, he does see 1 Hellion pop out. So he does know that it's going to be Hellion. So didn't see those on the map, but does see that one, which is going to give him all the information he could need. Should be prepared back at home to deal with this. We'll see if the wall is going to be set up once we get a shot over
on the way.
There's something in the wall there with a couple units waiting in position as well with the sentry. So yeah, he should be able to be perfectly fine against this.
Yeah, if you see that reactor on the factory and a Hellion, that's basically all you need to know, right? It's not the Reaper Hellion aggression.
We have 2 more gates on the way, so it's going to be 3-gate blink this time.
There is a medevac coming out, so he'll have the potential to drop those in the main. As you said, Zoun does have that nice wall at the front, which he can completely plug with a unit. In that case, you do need a way to be able to get into the main. And it's going to be a Banshee with Cloak follow-up here, so Cure really looking to be aggressive here in game number 3.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build. You don't normally actually see this from Terran players, going for a 4 Hellion opener into a Hellion drop into Cloak Banshees. That's a lot of aggression very quickly. The Scout's going to come out for Zoun on the Cloak Banshee, but I do not think he's at all prepared for a drop with
He does have Stalkers ready in the main. He's anticipating drop play into the main base, but not into the natural.
Or something like that, heading much earlier. This one comes at a very awkward time, but very nice reaction and excellent force field as well to block on that wall. That's absolutely wonderful.
One Hellion gets
away, losing a Hellion even on the back end. That was a clinical defense from Zoun.
Yeah, very interesting choice to drop the natural. Like normally you think, oh, yeah, if the units are there, you want to drop in the main. But there might be units in the main. He does choose to drop.
I mean, there were Stalkers in the main.
Beautiful response from Zoun though, running all. Dude, I'm so scared to run the probes like that where they all bunch up.
Yeah,
because you can just lose the game, right? But the
and remember, behind this, I believe Zoun did see the research on the tech lab, so he's aware of the Cloak Banshee.
Yeah, that was literally perfect from him.
And hey, we're going back into mech.
It's hard to boost into the main.
That's a second factory. We're making it up. And this time there's no 4-gate blink to punish Cure. This time it's 3-gate blink into a 3rd base, so Cure is safe to embrace mech.
Switch as well. So your question has been answered. It has been fulfilled.
We will be
getting mech. Yeah, meching it happen.
Making it happen, boys. Love to see it. It's nice to see some kind of mix-ups, right? I think we all love Bio, and you'd probably like to watch Bio most games, but it's nice to see a change here. And I think the Terran players have been making this style look really strong. Obviously, the Cyclone very good these days. He does have a Raven coming out as well. That's going to be useful. On the back of this, Zoun will have what he needs to deal with this. He's getting his charge.
So far, this is the second game so far in the series where we have mech. Do we get a 3rd game with mech? Maybe. What's important here as well is that typically when you go into mech like this, you go for a faster 3rd CC, but Cure is actually going for a 3, I think that might even be a 4th factory setup. He's going for a very heavy factory setup first before expanding.
He has a pylon there by the 3rd. He may see the shimmer if he's paying attention.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty well prepared anyways. He does have an observer with those stalkers in the natural anyways, so those should be totally fine. Yeah, he sees it anyways. He knows what's coming. We'll be totally prepared for that. And he's got the stuff in the main base as well, so he's going to be prepared if that goes in at the same time. Doesn't even look like it's going to at this point, but yeah, realizing it's not going to probably do anything, yeah, Cure is just really forced away. This is just, again, perfect defense from Zoun. You generally want to try to get something done as a Terran player, but since Cure's going for mech anyways, and I don't know if it was scouted actually yet by Zoun, but I think he's got the right stuff to be able to deal with it anyways.
Actually able to get in the main here and get a full
So what's important here is that I do favor Zoun's position just because Cure could have gotten a faster 3rd CC, but because what happened in game 1, it looks like Cure was almost scarred, like he was scared about a counterattack, so Cure decided to play safe instead. So that's a much later 3rd base out of Cure, which means Zoun can enjoy a greater economy for a little bit longer.
Tank a ton of the siege shots if there are siege tanks. Right now it's more kind of Cyclone heavy, Cyclone Hellion heavy. We do have the Robo as well, so we're going to need to see some Immortals coming out here soon. Right now, though, Cure is being aggressive. The Banshee's putting out a lot of damage onto that Stalker. It will just survive, and now Zoun knows. For sure.
Yes, interestingly enough, almost nothing has died this game, despite all the little pokes and prods, so very clean game so far. No losses either way. And yeah, you can see now a couple Archons getting morphed there from Zoun, making the realization that it is going to be mech. Just keeping 2 of those Templars.
So basically, as soon as Zoun realized that it's mech, he's pushing. And his goal is to break. But remember what we said earlier, Cure, he delayed his third in favor of extra factories. Cure actually has a pretty massive army here. I don't think Zoun can break him, or it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for him to break him. Let's see if he can.
Getting a couple more Zealots, couple more.
It's all or nothing with Zoun. He's committing.
His army supply is going to be quite high. I love this random eBay in the front to help choke up any of the Zealots and force them to attack that instead of the units. Here we go. Let's see if he can actually bust in.
The pre-split here on this Terran army is insane. The storms will,
take a lapse in.
Will be hard to get down.
Nice storms.
The storm does go down. All these cyclones here. Zoun is
my
moving
God,
in.
very nice storms.
Massive storm there on all the hellbats.
Yeah, he breaks through.
These banshees will fall. Zoun looks like he might be making this happen here. The SCVs are pulled. Tons of units going down. Zoun in a fantastic position right now. Those Archons need to possibly join up with the rest of the army and get some shots off. There's so much damage. 23 SCVs go down, and a beautiful timing here from Zoun in game number 3.
Yeah, that was, again, just super clinical. Zoun, despite maybe scouting it a little bit later than maybe he would normally want, just still making the perfectly correct decision upon realizing what it is. Says, okay, I've taken no damage this game. Nothing's really happened at all.
Right.
Sure, I've gone for Storm, but if I just only make 2 Templars worth and then the rest are Archons and just keep going into all my Zealots, which I've already prepared anyways with all of my gateways, I can still have a timing here. Realizes that, goes for the push, just perfect execution on it. The Storm's coming in with the Prism to get key storms onto the big juicy Hellbat Cyclone part of the army as well. You don't really want to waste the storms on the tanks, obviously, because they're going to be soaking up that damage much more, and they're not going to be clumped
So
together
when it comes to that game, I think what
Cyclones and
is scary to me here, one, that was a really clean game. I think that was the cleanest game from Zoun so far. It was impressive, very impressive. What's scary to me is that Cure, he kind of got away with his build, right? It's like he went for, I mean, I say got away with his build. He opted to go for a later third base. He was building up a larger army. I think he probably had the best setup he could have had against a move out like that. It was a later scout from Zoun, a later reaction, but he still, as soon as he realized what was happening, he went for the kill. And despite the amount of army that Cure had, it still wasn't enough. It still was not enough anyway. That doesn't bode well for Cure moving forward, trying to play mech. Zoun, he's been looking really decisive in his builds, really decisive in his play, and clearly if he sees you trying to go into mech, he will punish. I mean, the same thing happened in game 1. Different build, but the same thing in the sense that Zoun, once he realized that mech was on the way, Zoun, he committed with 4 Gatling Stalker.
The mass that's just too strong to kill, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people might watch that game and be like, God, Protoss is busted. But then, like, honestly, the defense that he had against the Hellions, against the dropped Hellions, against the Banshees, that's actually harder than it looks. Like it's not easy to just let that have 0 impact on your economy whatsoever. So yeah, just to lose absolutely
welcome to Botanical.
Brilliant from Zoun and really just skyrocketed him.
I also just realized that it's only AVEX maps that are being played on. Botanical and
one of our
Center
newer maps voted in by the patrons. So yeah, I would love to see how this map plays out a little bit too. This one honestly looks pretty interesting. I just like the look of this map actually. It's
so many trees, so much foliage.
Yeah,
you know
botanical.
What I mean? Botanical, yeah. It's a nice kind of garden-y map. It's nice to mix up the scenery here. See these little trees and bushes outside the natural. No shenanigans coming out here. No eBay block or anything like that.
Well, the CC first, actually.
Yeah, the CC first.
Ooh. That is not something we normally see here from Terran players. So yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at the map. I was trying to piece it together. This is one of the maps that I've not gotten to yet when it comes to TLMT21.
Yes, I see what you did there. Okay, Gemini.
What?
His name's Cure. He's curious.
I didn't even notice I did that.
The unintentional pun.
I wish I was that smart.
Unintended, guys.
I wish I was that funny. Jesus.
Well, unintentionally you were, but yeah, CC first. I mean, if you get away with it, it's amazing for your economy, right? Zoun has been aggressive with the Adept and stuff. This makes one thing about this is you're not going to get your CC cancelled, right? An Adept can't get there fast enough to actually kill that.
You have to be really bad to let that CC get cancelled by a probe.
You make it like a minute late. The Adept finally comes over and kills it. But yeah, he is going to go for a bunker here. Your units are a little bit delayed with the CC first, obviously. This adds a little bit more of a safety net, so you don't take damage early. It is still going to
Well,
be
the tech is going to be delayed here. So later racks, later factory, later starport, out of Cure. When it comes to Botanical, it seems like a pretty large map, longer rush distance by ground. The bases are very spread out though. From what I can tell, they're very wide entrances towards the third and fourth.
CC first build in TvP. Since you're so low,
so it looks like a
units for
difficult
so
map
long,
to
of
kind of
Terran
secure
players
yourself in a
just
3,
go
4,
for a
5 base
straight
setup.
2 or 3 racks right afterwards, because you just need as many units as possible. Because if the Protoss just ramps up the aggression, you simply don't have enough. So the fact that he's going straight into a factory with a reactor on the barracks after only a single Marine as well, like, this is so greedy from Cure, I feel like. And I'm very curious what actually he goes for with this style, because obviously, you know, you just have so few units at this point.
Second racks.
I feel like
2 on 1.
probably just going to try to go for some kind of blink pressure. I'm not quite sure how. I feel like the clip on this map is not too bad. Actually, maybe it's a little too small to do any crazy 4-gate blink stuff, but yeah, I feel like Zoun is going to look at this and just try to go for some blink aggression.
Yeah, there's no major entrance into the main base to allow for Mass Blink Stalker, but this looks like a 2-on-1 variation. We'll see if we go for an add-on swap, and we'll see if we go into early stim. Again, it is not unheard of to go into a 2-on-1 in TvP, so we'll keep an eye on that tech
We'll
lab.
have to see how he's going to be able to deal with this aggression. How many gateways did we have here so far?
Tech lab's on the way.
We got a couple extra gun.
2.
Okay, he's adding on
There's
one
a
more
third.
now. Yeah, that's the third one. The Robo as well, just to get that observer out, get the Warp Prism. And yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. Medevac coming out here. We don't have any Widow Mines or anything
Rushing
like
into
that.
Sim. 2-on-1.
Just a Cyclone at the moment.
Crazy.
And Stim is on the way.
Yeah, it looks like Zoun's actually going to go for the straight to storm style. He's going for the double gas very quickly at the natural, so he's not going to be going.
So just to emphasize what's happening here, he's going for a really early stim timing, earlier than normal. Like, typically you delay stim in favor of what? In favor of tanks, right? Like tanks, they play a pretty big role defensively in early game TvP. Here, we're delaying tanks, we're rushing into stim, and we can get ready here for an earlier stim timing, for an earlier stim push.
Try to break them. Or you go super greed and you just kind of sit back and just get as much tech as possible. The fact that he's gone for 3 gateways still, despite all this, is a little bit interesting. I guess the third base is quicker with this. Normally you don't get the third this fast with the Templar opener, so maybe that's the little corner that he's trying to cut here. Nice little scan to get the observers. Nice. And just picks up the Cyclone. We'll be able to kill that. Focus fire on the Sentry could be pretty good too. Some decent trades overall, and then he can just kind of boost out. Oh, if he just loses the prison or the medevac, that'd be terrible. Okay, luckily he gets out.
Yeah, Blink is done. You got to be so careful. You do not want to lose this medevac. Stim is about 3/4 done here. This medevac's just going to hang out in the dead airspace. And Curio's adding on more racks here. He's not getting a third base or anything like that just yet. I feel like he's going to hit an insanely strong time in here.
I believe Curio's getting him to a 5-rack setup. Remember, stim is done early, which means combat shields is also going to be done early as well.
I mean, whenever you go for Storm for in these styles, it happens so quick. Like, it's actually so hard to get there before it is even finished. So I'm curious. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he actually will, because I don't think he just has the units right now. Like, Stim, sure, will be finishing, but he doesn't really have anything.
2-base all in. We're throwing down extra raxes.
Like I was saying,
so even more racks is on the way. We're getting ready for a 2-base all in. Hyper committed here from Cure. He's going for tank production as well. Alongside this, he's going to have what, 3 tanks with the push.
Yes, but it's like
it's going to hit very hard.
6 Marines, and that's basically all. That's your thing.
Yeah, right. It is going to be after the storm here. So, okay, it is what it is. The tanks are coming out though. Combat shields is on the way as well.
Gateway explosion at the sound.
Third base here for Cure, so he's going to be super aggressive here when he does get the amount of units that he needs. This medevac just flying in and out, being annoying. See if he can pick off any probes. Okay, that's nice little damage there. 3 probes, maybe in a 4th for 2 Marines.
Here it comes, you pull the boys.
Any day, and he's pulling the boys!
This is not what I was expecting. I mean, you go CC first into a
I mean,
pull,
the entire build led into a 2-base all in. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Wait, we knew this was coming. Remember, it was a 2-on-1 to begin with, early stim. This hits with combat shields.
He knows that this is a storm opener. First one going down on the SCV is a decent pre-split, but there's no combat shield on these Marines either, so take note of that.
Combat shields is done in a couple of seconds.
A singular medevac here.
Ooh, the Texas burst!
Into double tank will kill one of them.
This is one.
A nice move from Zoun.
Yeah, there's so many SCVs here. They're actually going to go and fight the probes. Worker versus worker action here at the third base. Oh, the mineral walker's sick.
The surround,
Gonna get
let's
the
go.
surround on these probes. This is so good. Meanwhile, the blink does
the
come
tank's
in on
punished.
these tanks. I don't feel like he has. Okay, with the
Oh
storm,
my God,
that's
the
such
storm's
a big
crazy.
storm on the
Oh
Marines.
God, the
Zoun
storms.
jumping in here, going to pick off what he can. The second tank goes
He
down.
stands in the
Zoun looking
storms,
to get a
Pappy.
cleanup here. The SCVs are nowhere to be seen right now.
I mean,
they're
they're
still
all
fighting.
dead.
Zan holds. He holds. He's got his immortal.
Oh, they're still alive. He really needed those in the fight.
Yeah, that's actually wild. He just sent them over to the third. It was like, go ahead, guys, try your best. And then he just didn't have them for the attack. He
Wow.
also didn't have that medevac with the Cyclone and a few extra Marines either. This is just flat on arrival. I mean, Cure, I don't know exactly what he was trying to go for here, knowing it was going to be a storm opener. And the fact that all of the SCVs were off doing their own thing, I don't know. This just really did not work for Cure whatsoever.
So they're questioning the build choice. I think the build choice was perfectly fine. Unfortunately, it was the execution. Unfortunately, the SCVs not being there to buffer. Unfortunately, not having the reinforcing medevac either. The first tank being exposed. Remember, the first tank going down was a brutal start as well. Your tanks are so crucial as they're the backbone to your army. So yeah, I do actually like the build of choice from Cure. I do think that he could have broken through, but again, the execution of the build was lackluster. GG.
Too much of a good position here. Cure forced to GG.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to try to go for a second try a little bit later because he did kind of keep some SCVs alive. He didn't have like 0 at home. He had
just
like
under
30 or so.
right? But once you send all those SCVs,
I mean, like,
if you don't get the damage you need, you're kind of cooked, right?
yeah, no, I just felt it just looked like, yeah, he was like, oh, I'm going to do the Terran thing where I have mules and 30 SCVs. Like, I can technically go for round 2. But yeah, I think you're realizing like 20 seconds later is like, screw this.
He could have just pulled the last 30 SCVs and tried it again, but yeah, Cure's economy was nowhere near as good as Zoun's, obviously, after the failed attack. Zoun defends and is now up 2-1 in this series.
He's up in the series.
It is 2-1, right?
Zoun is up at 2-1.
No, it's 3-1.
Is it 3-1?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's 3-1.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
sorry.
so was I. Sorry, I
forgot
said
the
2-1,
score.
and I was like, no, wait, Zoun won the last game. Yeah, so we are here 3-1. The first set of the day does go to Zoun. What a strong performance by him.
Yeah, no,
GG, well played. Sorry, I actually had it misplaced on my own scoreline. I had Cure winning the last game. My apologies. But GG, well played. Zoun does claim the series at 3-1, and Zoun he does advance on into the next round. Congratulations. Honestly, really fast games. I was hoping for a bit of a longer. I was hoping to get some mid game. I was going to get some mid game here between the two players, but that just didn't happen. No mid game whatsoever. So just really fast games, really decisive builds, and with that, Cure taps out. He gets knocked down to low ground or to the lower bracket, and Zoun will claim the series. From here, we're going to be getting ready for our final series of this broadcast. Up next is going to be a TvP between Maru and Classic. Oh boy, it's going to be a banger of a Terran versus Protoss game. Classic coming in as the runner-up of EWC, coming in as the best Protoss player in the world. Maru has been having a harder time this year, especially in TvP. TvP, Maru has been playing a lot of mech, a lot of all-ins. I do not expect to see mid-game between these two players. Not at all, unless Maru can elongate the game with mech. Can he get there, though? We'll see. I feel like mech is going to be a big part of this series, but the pressure is on, and it comes down to our two players. We'll be back after the break. So going to be going on a short break. When we come back, Maru and Classic going to be coming at you, Pat. Let's go.